Okay, Goken, we're here at 383 Serengeti. This is the place where I told you that it's got this Australian style lightweight polystyrene, and so we're basically removing the paint from this area here. The behind area, it's probably some plaster or some skim or something or the other, which is, when you put in your hand, it's completely wet. So we're going to remove this, and then what we're going to do in this area here, we're going to apply it over the existing surface just by chipping the behind surface, and then we're going to take another area where we're going to remove it right out until we reach the polystyrene. Stay tuned. Okay, film part 2. This is the section where we're removing the material. As you can see, it's so wet that the paint just came off in a perfect piece. Now we're going to dig deep into it. You can see how wet it is. And we're going to go straight through to the polystyrene to then apply the thermal plaster directly to the polystyrene. Stay tuned for the next stage. Just shows you how wet it is and how easy the material has been removed. There were signs of black mold appearing on the polystyrene, which means the moisture is completely trapped in between the polystyrene and the plaster. Okay, we now removed the paint and we applied the thermal insulation plaster directly over the existing plaster, which was wet on the surface. We'll now leave it to dry and see if it binds, and we'll also see if any moisture penetrates through there from the moisture that's already inside the actual wall. Stay tuned for the next stage. Okay, we've now removed the area of the plaster to the polystyrene. Due to the mold that's formed behind it, we scraped off now. We've established that by leaning forward and smelling the wall, there's an extensive bad smell of black mold forming between the polystyrene and the plastered wall surface. We're now going to apply the thermal plaster directly to the polystyrene and see if it sticks to the polystyrene. Okay, application of thermal insulation plaster to sample wall area. Okay, as you can see, we now have applied the thermal insulation plaster to the polystyrene. We now need to leave it to dry to be able to cut it and float it. But the most important thing here is to see whether my material actually binds to the polystyrene, or is it actually loose and will it fall off. We'll ascertain that tomorrow. Cheers, have a good evening, bye.
So much water. I think this is the first time to meet a house like this one. This is bad. This is the first one.
Look here, watch here. See the water?
Yeah.
Check this one here.
And this is project. I went with Caleb.
These are signs of rising damp and water trapped in the wall. As you can see, we've now done a sample of our thermal insulation plaster. Let me show you the rest of the house as we go around. That's the second application of the thermal plaster. Just shows you the damages. And just to give you an idea, this is a 10 million rand house.
Maybe it's all these dogs that they used to make a carpet with.